I know that the president has an event right after this. I think it's running a few minutes behind. So we'll do the briefing until we have to move to the event. Have a couple of things at the top, and then we'll open it up. As I just mentioned, soon the president will sign into law 9 bipartisan bills that support veterans, and he will be joined by members of Congress from both parties, veteran advocates, and veterans who will benefit from these laws. President Biden ran on the promise to unite the country, which is why supporting veterans is a key part of his unity agenda announced at the State of the Union. Supporting our country's veterans is an issue that all Americans can agree on. Among the impact of the bills being signed into law today are 2 that will improve access to breast imaging services for veterans, including those who experience toxic exposures during military service. Other bills to be signed include 3 to honor the legacy of service to our nation, including 1 to award a single Congressional Gold Medal to the U.S. Army Rangers World War II. The Rangers played a crucial role in the D-Day invasion of Normandy, which began exactly 78 years ago yesterday. Also today, the Senate voted to advance the PACT Act. The president was clear in his State of the Union that addressing toxic exposures is a priority, and Congress should move with urgency for our veterans. Today, Congress took a major step forward. President Biden looks forward to final passage of this legislation so that he can sign it into law and continue to uphold our sacred obligation to support those who have served our nation, their families, caregivers, and survivors. Today, the administration announced new investments from the American Rescue Plan to help provide every American with access to affordable, high-speed internet. These investments will bring down costs for families and small businesses, particularly in rural and remote areas, and ensure affordability. This morning, Treasury announced the first state awards from the $10 billion Capital Projects Fund, which will make resources immediately available in Louisiana, New Hampshire, Virginia, and West Virginia to connect over 200,000 homes that currently lack access. On a sad note, our dear friend and colleague, Michael Gwynn, will be leaving us for Treasury, where he will serve as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs. Gwynn has served as the White House Director of Rapid Response for the past 60 months, responding to the most challenging and difficult issues imaginable. Yet, amidst these often emotionally wrenching stories, Gwen's poise and moral clarity are unfailing, and his willingness and ability to step up has made him an indispensable member of the team. And joining Gwen at the Treasury Department will be our very own Michael Kikukawa, where he will serve as a spokesperson. Michael, better known here to all of you, to all of us, as Kiku, has served not just as a press assistant, but as the strong engine and reliable engine at the press shop. His relentless work ethic and dedication to the mission of this team have been second to none. Kiku and Gwen, we will miss you both. Thank you so much. Very heart-wrenching, but I'm very excited for both of you. Wishing you the best. And we do have some hellos. I know we keep announcing people leaving, but we actually have people coming and backfilling some great, great folks who are joining our team. 2 new members who are here to our team. I'd like to first introduce Abdullah Hassan, right here. Some of you know him already, who will be joining us as an assistant press secretary, having previously served as the Deputy Associate Director for Communications for the White House Office of Management and Budget. Amongst many topics, Abdullah will be covering civil rights, immigration, and climate. We also would like to extend a warm welcome to Alexandra Lamana. Hello. Who is joining us on detail from Treasury, where she has served as senior spokesperson. Part of Alexandra's portfolio will be working on housing, infrastructure implementation, and other economic issues. Abdullah and Alexandra haven't even gotten their full-time badges yet, but we are already getting them hard at work, and we appreciate all of their work thus far. We have felt the impact of it. Okay, please join me on welcoming the team, and with that, I think that's all I have. All right, go ahead.
Thanks, Karine. I know we're getting started here kind of late, and this is the last break of the week. I'm hoping you might be able to pick this up after the president's event, just because we got a lot of people having questions.
I hear you. I have other obligations as well after this, so we'll see what we can do. But I can't make any promises. But why don't we get going?
Great. So on the subject of guns, the president had his meeting with Chris Murphy, but he didn't speak to the public today. Does the president have a clearer sense of where things are, what is possible on Capitol Hill, and also why is he turning to a Hollywood actor to take the message to the American people? Does he feel that his voice doesn't matter?
His voice does matter. You heard him speak on Thursday very clearly, very loudly, very passionately during prime time. At a critical time during the day where he made sure that he can communicate with the American people. And so he's the President of the United States. His voice carries, and it does matter. What he says carries weight that is pretty tremendous. Matthew was here because, as you heard, he has a very personal connection to Uvalde. He met with the family. He is from there. He was born there. He lives in Texas. And we thought hearing from him directly, him using his platform, is incredibly important. We all know what it's like or how important it is for folks, especially on whether you are an actor, whether you are in the business sector, wherever you are, to use your platform, how critical and important it is. And I think his words here today were incredibly powerful and emotional. And I thank him and Camilla for coming here today. They met with the president, as I just mentioned. And so I just wanted to just address that. Zeke, the president received an update, as you all know, as we've mentioned, from Senator Murphy on the state of negotiations on Capitol Hill. He told Senator Murphy he strongly support his efforts to find a compromise and encouraged him to get the strongest possible results. In the end, the president said that the message he took from the families at Uvalde when he was there was to do something, was to please do something. That's what the grieving family told him. Some of you heard that yourselves from the community when he was in Uvalde. And so that is what Senator Murphy and his colleagues are going to do. They're going to do just that.
It's not a different subject. The president's meeting with President Bolsonaro of Brazil. The AP is reporting that the Brazilian government, President Bolsonaro, wanted specific concessions from the president for that meeting and for his attendance at the Summit of the Americas, and that he wouldn't bring up Bolsonaro's casting doubts about Brazil's election system, as well as environmental concerns in the Amazon. Can you confirm that report?
I cannot confirm that report. The president is looking forward to leaving tomorrow to head to the summit that we are hosting. I can say this: the United States continues to recognize Juan Guaido as the interim president of Venezuela. That said, while the interim government was not invited to participate in the main summit, they are welcome to participate in all three stakeholder forums and other events.
Is the president now getting more directly involved in the negotiations on the Hill now that he's met with Senator Murphy?
Well, I want to be very clear here. Senator Murphy has said this many times during interviews on various networks here, that he believes it's time for the Senate to act. And that is what they're doing. The president is encouraged about what he is seeing with this team of negotiators on the Senate side, and he is, like I said, encouraged and wants to continue to see them move forward and take action.
And in the meeting with Matthew McConaughey, did McConaughey go through the same elements with the president that he did here at the podium?
Well, they had a private conversation. I'm not going to read out their private conversation. As you can imagine, the president went to Uvalde himself. He also met with many of the family members. He also heard many of the stories that Matthew came here to share with all of you. So they certainly connected on that aspect.
Thanks, Karine. Is the president willing to accept whatever agreement lawmakers come to, should they come to an agreement when it comes to guns?
So as you know, the president has been very involved in gun reform as senator, as vice president, and clearly now as president, having signed the most executive actions on gun reform than any president at this time of their presidency. And when he was senator, he was talking about this today. It took him years. It took him years to get the 1994 assault ban legislation now that was law for 10 years and expired in 2004. And so we haven't seen this type of negotiations or this type of coming together from both sides in a very long time. It's been decades. So he is encouraged. He is optimistic about what he's seeing, about what he is hearing, the update that he received, and so we're going to see how those negotiations go. And any step, he believes any step is a step forward. He's going to continue to call for all of the things that you heard him lay out when it comes to what he sees as a comprehensive gun reform on Thursday. But he also believes that any step forward is important. Clearly, we're not going to negotiate from here, and we're going to leave the specifics to the senators.
And one other question: does he still seek to make Saudi Arabia a pariah state?
Well, I spoke to this yesterday, and I could share some more thoughts on that now. But look, the president was very clear when he was asked about this on Friday when he was delivering his remarks on the economy. And basically, he said, as president, he believes that if there is any way to get peace, he feels like he should take that direction. So Saudi Arabia has been a strategic partner of the United States for 8 decades. Every president since FDR has met with Saudi leaders, and the president considers Saudi Arabia an important partner on a host of regional and global strategies, including other efforts to end the war in Yemen, contain Iran, and counterterrorism. Saudi pilots flew with ours in the war against ISIS. Its Navy patrols with ours in the Red Sea and the Gulf, and the U.S. military personnel are based in Saudi Arabia. As I've said, the president will meet with any leader if it serves the interests of the American people. That's what he puts first. He believes engagement with Saudi leaders clearly meets that test, as has every president before him. I'm going to move around. I'm going to move around. Kate, I'm going to move around. I'm going to really. Okay, I'm going to take one more. I'm Caitlin. I'm going to take one more. I'm going to take one more.
Just on these negotiations, if changing background checks for younger people than 21 is what ends up happening, if opening these juvenile records to more scrutiny is what comes of this, does the president believe that that is meaningful change? Is that satisfying? If that's what comes of this moment, is he okay with that?
So the president was clear last week that there's real urgency, and to make sure something like Uvalde or Buffalo and many mass shootings prior can't happen again. And we're encouraged again by the progress that we're seeing. You know, we're going to stay closely engaged. We're going to not negotiate from here. We're going to let the contours of the legislation and those conversations play out. And what we are encouraged by is that the conversation is happening. Both sides are coming together. We saw the House taking some actions last week. They also will take some actions this week. What the president believes is that we have to do something, and like he said on Thursday, enough is enough. Okay. I can't speak to the timeline. That is going to be up to Senator Schumer and Chris Murphy and their conversations that we're having.
Can you tell you something on the economy?
Guys, we need a longer break.